Hey guys, it's me, my face, and a brand new fan that's just making everything go crazy. Hey guys, not to belabor the idea of the weather, but it's hot up here. I have a new fan. It's a little more powerful than my old fan. My background is blowing. Yet I feel less like I'm going to die up here. So, we're gonna compromise. I'm hoping it's not too loud. If I find out that it's too loud, I won't use it again when I record, but I feel so much better than I have recently. I am sorry to have missed recording last week, not because anybody acts like I owe them a video or, like the internet is banging on my front door wondering where I am. But I enjoy making these videos. I make them for you, I make them for me, I make them for my emotional stability, I make them for fun. And so when I don't do one, I feel like I have skipped a big part of my week, and I don't want to do that very often. I actually toyed with the idea of maybe only recording every other week. But to me, if I record every other week and I miss a recording, that's a month. That's a month without making a video, and I don't like the idea of that. So I would rather still commit or try to commit to recording every week, and then if I have to miss one, then it's only 2 weeks in between. The project I want to start with is Death by Cross Stitch. I think it's probably the one I have the most to say about. I've kind of reached a problem. Let's start with this. Let's start with what I did get done. And I am peeking around the corner to see what you see. So you see I got a fair amount of that purple done on the side there. I only worked on this a couple of times in the past couple of weeks and really did not put that many hours into it, although I think it's probably the thing I worked on the most. I just run out of steam faster and faster and faster. And then I was part of a conversation somewhere about Templars. You know what I'm talking about. Long John Sampler, Templar. It's up here somewhere. And I just started kind of yearning for that project and not this one. I feel bad about that. But I am going to keep persevering. It's not like it's going to go away. I just have to admit that I run out of steam very quickly on it. But here's the other thing that I'm running into. I think I may have mentioned it, and I know other people have mentioned it. The way this is designed, the space here, and again I'm going to the space here, and there's another space over here, is supposed to be where you put your initials. In the model, it's where Julia Lean puts her J and her L. She provides you with an alphabet, that not all the letters fit in the space that she has provided in the pattern. So I know I found several people had just, taken out, I'm going to kind of catty corner here, taken out this hatchwork and made themselves a little extra room for the letters. I've already stitched it. I don't want to unstitch it. I want to make the letters fit. So I actually started recharting the letters that she provides in 1/1 with a little extra backstitching around them and some motifs pulled from other places in the pattern to see if I can kind of fill in that space. But it's hard for me to launch into that without really understanding. Part of me said I'll take a scrap of this and just do those letters and see how I like them. And the thought of that is so exhausting at this point that I've charted them. They're in my computer. You're probably seeing them here. So they'll get done. But I think I may move on from this page without those letters done and come back to them at the end. Because I'm thinking maybe I will think of a better idea, or I will find, if anybody else has done this and has recharted or managed to wedge in the A and the H into this pattern, please let me know, because the A it's ginormous. It was never meant to fit in this space. So I'm a little annoyed, not even so much that there isn't an alphabet provided that fits, but it isn't even called out in the pattern. Like, maybe you want to avoid putting this portion in until you figure out if your letters will fit. Something. I'm not ranting. I still love this piece. I'm just a little frustrated with it. Look at me remembering to show you the back. Still not terrible. Not terrible. I mean, not pretty, but not terrible. The next one that I worked on and only got a tiny little bit of progress on is Wicked Christmas. And I don't mean to make this entire video sound very unenthusiastic, but like, I just couldn't get much going. And I think a lot of it is because the section I am working on is not very dense. There are a lot of little motifs far apart. I've got another thing that I can't key anything off of because at some point I was just like, I don't care. I counted it 6 times and ended up in 6 different places, so I just sort of took an average. I feel like I'm reloading my needle more than I'm stitching. So I think I am going to move the Q-snap and move all of this up, because under here there's a pretty large building that's mostly white and brown. But I think working on something a little more dense and a little more stitching and a little less needle loading might make me love it a little more again. I don't not love it. I just, just to stay consistent, there is the back. There is the back. I think I can proudly announce that this is my favorite project. Now that I am on to this block with the pumpkins, I cannot stop. I am loving those pumpkins. I can't wait to do I think there's only 3 left, but they're big ones. And then there is the scarecrow. But yeah, you couldn't keep me away from those pumpkins. When I was feeling like stitching, this is what I was working on. It was one of the only projects I feel like I made decent progress on, and that I look forward to working on and seeing more and more things come in. I don't know if I have a second wind on this project, or if I'm just actually starting to realize that if I just stitch the thing, good things happen. And I have to tell you, the back of this, that's no joke. I mean, there's a few little weirdos, but, weirdos unite. So not bad. Right, the last project I worked on this week is the Christmas Hare by Barbara Anna. And this has ended up with a few more personalizations than I really intended. For such a small piece, I have gone fair well off the rails. But you can't tell, and I'm not going to point out where it is, so we're all good. But I've gotten to the point that, the colors, the fabric is the problem because the colors are just blending in. And part of the reason I liked this pattern to start with was that the colors were those icy whites and blues rather than like a bright red and green Christmas thing. But they kept fading into the fabric. So instead of having a white bunny, now we have a brown bunny. And instead of having a brown coated Santa, which wasn't going to show up on the brown bunny, I went with Victorian motto, English iris. I will correct myself if necessary. It's always necessary. Because I was actually sitting here thinking, well, I can't put his coat as brown because I made the bunny brown. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I want some red in here. I want a little, if it's the Christmas hair, I want something that looks a little bit Christmassy. And actually, it looked a lot more red on the skein. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to translate, but you can see it's pretty purpley here, which I'm good with because that's still kind of a non-traditional Christmas color. But I think it at least goes with the other colors, and it will be fine. Guys, it's fine. It's fine. And here's the back of my weenie little 1/1. I am definitely letting myself go with the traveling of threads, especially on the 1/1s, because I'm just like one stitch. Like I could do 5, well, really I can only do 2 stitches in the space of one, but you know what I'm saying? If I would usually travel 2 stitches, I can travel 4 or 6 or more than that. So that is all that I worked on in the past 2 weeks. I'm sorry to say, or I'm sad to say, that I did not work on any It's You I Likes. It just never jumped off the shelf at me. Every time I went to go pick something, it was pretty much Hawk Run Hollow. I haven't given up on making the things that I want to make, but I think sometimes I look at that and I say, well, you know, there's only so many of those I can stitch, and then I have to finish them, and then I start thinking about what I'd like to do to finish them, and then I start thinking, Andrea, you are never pulling out your sewing machine to finish these, so why are you even doing them? And then I have to say, no, Satan, not today, and then I go eat my feelings. It's not always easy being me. It's not glamorous. So anyway, I did not work on that. And I know that the It's You I Like is not supposed to be stressful. It is supposed to be the exact opposite of that. It is a wonderful project and I want to embrace it again, but my brain, not always cooperative. What I did end up with is a teeny tiny little bit of haul, and it's actually something that I've been wanting, but the price just always seemed, even at its lowest, always seemed more than I was willing to pay for it. But I find myself a lot of times, because I want to use a lot of these specialty threads that I've gotten in patterns, and I look at the pattern and it says, you know, DMC blah blah blah, and I don't have that color, so I can't hold it up next to my specialty floss to make a reasonable decision on how I want to change it out. So short of getting a full set of DMC, I went and got the color card with the actual floss samples. So, I mean, everybody's pretty much familiar with these, but you know, it's got the cottons, it's got the pearl cottons, it's got the new colors, it's fancy. It is fancy. I think that's gonna be my thumbnail. Yeah, dog. But this is going to make it so much easier, because all I have to do is lay my big pile of flosses on top of it and see what goes with what and what might be, you know, if I want to not only replace a color, but maybe step it back, make it a little darker, it's going to make me much happier in the end, I think. Because right now, a lot of times I am afraid to swap out a color, because I know that generally in a design, the colors are picked to balance each other out and to work with each other. And if you change out one color, sometimes it doesn't play nice with all the other colors. So this might give me a little more confidence and just make me relax a little more so that I can stitch. So, kind of related to haul, I think the last time we spoke, I mentioned that I have signed up for Trish at 3 Owl Threads nest egg for Classic Colorworks. And I got my invoice. I was waiting for the invoice. I think I got the invoice like on the day she said she would be sending it. I think it was like the 26th or the 27th. And I had been so paranoid about missing it that the minute it popped up, I was like, I think I paid within like 12 seconds. It probably frightened poor Trisha. She's just doesn't know what to do with me. But there's a pretty big gap in the way she does things. Like, she bills you on a certain date and then she orders everything she needs. So you wait for that order to come in and then she sends it out. So I had completely forgotten that I had signed up for the nest egg until I'm finally last night got around to reading my comments. Not reading, I read them. I was responding to them and acknowledging them. And Kara from Kay's Cross Stitch made a comment about Classic Colorworks, and I went, oh my goodness, that's right. Those should be coming soon. And it was like anticipation of Christmas. It's like, oh, I have something to look forward to. This is wonderful. So hopefully in the next week or so, those will come. And then right on the heels of that should be the next invoice. So then I can have like 3 weeks to forget about them again until they show up on my doorstep. And it'll be like Christmas all over again. It's the little wins that count. Don't take that from me. So I have spent the past couple of weeks thinking, which honestly, guys, does not usually end well for me. It usually means that I'm overthinking and I just snowball into some sort of madness. But what's kind of been inspiring me is that so many people who have not designed up until now have started to and are being pretty successful at it. The person that jumps out to me right now is Michelle Bendy Stitchy. She has started not just putting her patterns in, what if it's Cross Stitch, X Stitch magazine? It'll be here. What she actually did was buy ad space and uses it to put her own patterns in, which I think is brilliant. But I find it great because it reminds me that I have a lot of, ideas in my head and I would love to translate them into cross stitch, but I don't have to be Kathy Barrick today. I don't have to be Kathy Haberman today. What is it with all the Kathys? All the floss tubers are named Michelle and all the designers are named Kathy. And by all, I mean those two. So I've been thinking over the past couple of weeks about some very small designs. Just maybe even something as small and simple as It's You I Like. That I can just give away, that I can just link to and say, here, this is cute, have it. And I don't have to worry about it being production quality or, something that even I feel is worth paying for. I can just do it and give it to you. I know, revelation. So yes, rather than trying to design the next Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, which could take me the rest of my life, I am going to see if I can't get for our next video a nice little pattern to link to for us all to just enjoy and sell and just do it for fun. And it doesn't have to be the next great American artwork. I do have another thing to announce that I wasn't sure that I was going to announce. And it's not like a grand, huge thing. I mean, it's huge for me. But I have put my name on the wait list for StitchCon 2020. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what my life will be like next year. But I figure if I start tucking away money now, I shouldn't have any problem paying for some airfare and in a hotel room. And I want to do it. I want to go and hang out with my friends, the people who I have talked to on and off. Sometimes once a week and sometimes twice a year, but people I have talked to online now for a couple of years. And I want to go and I want to have a stitchy fun, and I want to be around people who understand when, you want to drool over fabric or, threads and things like that. I really want that experience. So I have put my name on the wait list. Hopefully there'll be room for me. If not, maybe I'll find something else, but at least I'm going to try. You know what we haven't done in a very long time? We haven't just had a plain old giveaway. And I have all these great charts that Stitchy Godmother sent over to me. I think I may have not misspoke, but given the impression. I don't think all of these were not hers. I believe this was a stash that she inherited, and she picked through it, and then she found some things that she thought I would like or could use and passed them on to me. So it wasn't... Poor Laura did not have all of these, I think, in a box under her bed. She acquired these. But one of them that actually two people had emailed me about, because I guess, did I say caladium? I may have said caladium wrong or something. I don't know. There's some botanists out there that know these things. But we're going to give away caladiums and water lilies. Which those water lilies, I like them. I like the look of them, but I'm never going to do them. I'm just not. So we're going to give this away. So what you're going to do to get this down in the comments is avoid the word giveaway. I don't know that it matters anymore, but let's just keep playing that game. Avoid the word giveaway and just put, I would like to stitch the flowers. That's pretty easy. I was going to have you say caladiums. I tried to spell it 3 times. It was going to go poorly. So I would like to stitch the flowers. And I will send this anywhere in the world. Because it is stiff like this, I won't fold it in 3, but I am going to give you a warning. I'm just going to give you some of this here. The chart is tiny. Like legit tiny. And there are several pages of it. And look, it's tiny. So you're going to want to copy these or scan them and blow them up. But otherwise, it's in pretty good condition. I know a lot of the ones I showed had like coffee stains and things like that on them, which didn't hurt the patterns, but this doesn't have any of that. It just has kind of a price tag thing on the bottom. But we will give that away. And let's say comment by Thursday, August the 22nd, and I will choose the winner for the next video. Can I also point out that this was designed by Kathy Livingston? Again with the Kathy. That's really all I have for this week. Life continues to be up and down. I can't really expect anything other than that. Life is always going to be, smooth and then rough and up and then down, and I have to find ways of dealing with the downs as best I can. So hopefully no more skipping weekends, because this is my therapy as much as going to the therapist is my therapy. So let's hope I don't have to skip it again. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your dislikes, and your subscriptions. Thank you, as always, for being my community, and I will talk to you next week. Bye, guys.